Have you ever noticed that some people don't actually want help? They want attention. You give them your time, your energy, even your peace, yet nothing ever changes. Instead, they drain you, guilt you, and somehow make you feel responsible for their chaos. Stoicism teaches a hard truth. Compassion without wisdom becomes self-destruction. Marcus Aurelius warned, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be one." And being good doesn't mean rescuing everyone. It means protecting your integrity and your mind. Today, we'll explore 7 types of people you must stop helping, not because you stopped caring, but because your energy is sacred. These lessons will sharpen your discernment, protect your peace, and remind you, you can't carry those who refuse to walk. Comment below, "I protect my peace." Let's begin. 1. The Perpetual Victim. They always have a story, and in every story, they're the one who has been wronged by the world, by their job, their partner, their childhood. You listen, you comfort, you guide, you fix. Yet nothing changes, because they don't want solutions, they want sympathy. Stoicism forces us to accept a difficult truth. You cannot help someone who refuses to help themselves. Epictetus said, "You cannot teach a man what he thinks he already knows." The perpetual victim lives in that blindness. They see life as something happening to them, never through them. Their identity is tied to suffering. If the suffering stops, who are they? So they cling to their pain. They feed on the energy of people who care. You become their emotional lifeline, the one who answers every call, gives endless chances, and believes this time will be different. But it never is, because misery can become comfortable, and comfort is hard to leave. They want empathy, not accountability. Stoics would call this helplessness of the soul. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it." A victim refuses to change that estimate. Powerlessness excuses them from responsibility. Meanwhile, you become the rescuer, pouring time, advice, and even money into someone who doesn't change. It's like filling a cracked cup. Everything disappears, and you're left empty. Stoicism teaches compassion with discernment, the difference between helping someone in temporary pain and enabling someone addicted to it. Seneca warned, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." Wasting it on people who won't stand up is one of life's quiet tragedies. So how do you respond? Observe before you offer. Don't rush to save. See if they take action first. Set emotional boundaries. Listen once, not forever. Ask, what can you do about it? If they deflect again, you have the answer. Withdraw softly, with clarity, not anger. Your silence will teach more than your sympathy ever did. You're not cruel for stepping back. You're wise. Marcus Aurelius reminded us, your soul becomes colored by your surroundings. Stay too long around a victim, and you'll start seeing life through their helplessness. So next time the same story reaches you again, pause. Ask, am I helping or am I enabling? Then step back and let them face their own lesson. Because real kindness isn't rescuing someone from consequences, it's allowing them to grow because of them. Affirmation: I give help where it's received, not where it's wasted. 2. The Energy Leech. They don't always ask for help directly. Sometimes they seem kind, thoughtful, even soft-spoken, but stay around them long enough, and you feel it. that slow drain in your chest after every interaction. These are the energy leeches. They don't take your money. They take something far more valuable: your attention, your calm, your inner vitality. An energy leech always needs emotional feeding. They thrive on long conversations about their chaos, their heartbreak, their constant disappointments. You try to lift them up, they nod and return to the same cycle. What they want isn't a solution. They want your emotional reaction, your presence, your energy. Stoicism teaches us to guard our inner fortress. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." But energy leeches test that boundary. They text at midnight, call during your workday, pull you into problems they created, and vanish when you need support. Then, when they return, you feel guilty saying no, as if protecting your peace is selfish. That guilt is their tool. Some don't mean harm. They've simply never learned emotional responsibility. Others are subtly manipulative and know exactly how to pull your empathy. They praise your kindness, because that's what they use. The more you give, the more they take, until there is nothing left. Seneca warned, "Associate with those who make you better." If someone is draining you, you're not growing, you're shrinking. Stoicism doesn't ask you to isolate yourself, but it does ask you to discern who deserves your time and who only consumes it. How do you spot an energy leech? They begin almost every interaction with urgency. To them, everything is a crisis. Every conversation eventually becomes about them. When you speak about your life, they quickly steer it back to theirs. When you need rest, they label it distance. When you set boundaries, they call it coldness. But real friendship doesn't fear boundaries. Real friendship respects them. Here's what the Stoics would advise. Audit your energy. After spending time with someone, ask yourself, do I feel lighter or heavier? Your body knows the truth long before your mind admits it. Stop explaining your boundaries. The more you justify your need for space, the more it invites negotiation. Boundaries are statements, not discussions. Replace reaction with stillness. When they demand your attention, pause before responding. You'll be surprised how many urgent situations resolve themselves when you stop rushing to fix them. Refuel before rescuing anyone. A drained person can't genuinely help others. Protect your mornings, your silence, your solitude. That is your battery pack. Helping others is noble, but helping at the cost of yourself becomes self-erasure. Epictetus said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. Let them think you've become distant. Let them misunderstand you. It is far better to be misjudged for protecting your peace than praised while quietly burning out." An energy leech doesn't need more of your attention. What they truly need is your absence, so they can finally face themselves without distraction. And you'll feel silence returning to your life like oxygen. Affirmation: my energy is sacred. I give it with intention, not obligation. 3. The manipulative helper. Not all manipulators appear harsh. Some arrive smiling, warm, and saying, "I just want to help." They correct your mistakes, offer advice you never asked for, or jump in before you even speak. But beneath their kindness is a contract you never agreed to, one that says you owe them. These are the manipulative helpers, people who use generosity as a hidden tool for control. At first, their help feels flattering. They buy you coffee, give guidance, solve small problems. But soon you start hearing the subtle reminders. Remember what I did for you. After everything I've done, this is how you treat me. Their help wasn't a gift. It was a leash. They don't want connection. They want credit. Stoicism warns us about the trap of dependency. Seneca wrote, "He who gives for gratitude's sake has already received his reward." The manipulative helper does not give out of virtue. They give to gain leverage. Their kindness demands repayment in loyalty, guilt, or obedience. You find yourself adjusting your actions to avoid disappointing them, not because it's right, but because you feel indebted. They disguise control as care. They help to keep you small. And when you grow beyond their influence, they become the martyr. You've changed. Yes, that is the point. But they can't accept your independence because it removes their power source. Marcus Aurelius said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." A good person helps because it's right, not because it earns them leverage. A Stoic knows that true virtue asks for nothing in return. But the manipulative helper treats every gesture like a transaction. How to recognize them? They help without being asked, but expect endless appreciation. Their favors come with emotional strings. They rewrite your success as part of their generosity. When you assert yourself, they guilt-trip you for being ungrateful. How to handle them? Express gratitude without feeling indebted. Say thank you sincerely, but don't let appreciation become a chain. Stop accepting unsolicited help. If someone insists on doing things you didn't ask for, it's okay to decline politely. Return to balance. Real relationships breathe through reciprocity. If one side is always the savior, it's not love, it's control. Detach emotionally. Once you see the pattern, you can step back without drama. You owe explanations only to your conscience, not their expectations. Stoicism teaches that intention defines virtue. Seneca said, "No man gives generously if he expects repayment." A manipulative helper fails that test because their giving is actually a form of taking. Refusing their control is not rejecting kindness. It's honoring what kindness truly is. Gratitude should feel light, never heavy. When someone's help becomes a burden, it is no longer help. It's a trap dressed as virtue. And once you break free, something powerful happens. You begin helping others again, not to please them, not to prove yourself, but simply because it is right. That is the Stoic meaning of freedom through virtue. Affirmation: I receive help without debt and give help without expectation. I give freely, and I owe no one for doing what's right. 4. The chronic complainer. You spot them instantly. The sigh before every sentence, the heavy mood that enters the room before they do. They have a story for every disappointment, a reason life is unfair, and an excuse ready before anything begins. These are the chronic complainers, people who confuse venting with problem-solving and attention with connection. At first, you think you're being kind by listening. You nod, empathize, offer solutions. But soon, you notice something important. They don't want solutions. They want an audience. Every suggestion you offer meets a reason it won't work. Every door you show them, they point out the lock. And the longer you listen, the deeper you get pulled into their storm. Marcus Aurelius warned, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." Stay around too much negativity, and your own thoughts start dimming. You absorb their cynicism, their hopelessness, their quiet belief that the world is against them. Stoicism calls this contamination of the mind, when someone's weakness slowly infects your strength. The chronic complainer doesn't realize that complaining is a confession. As Seneca wrote, "Complaint is the confession of a weak spirit." They're not sharing to heal, they're broadcasting helplessness to be validated. And when you validate it long enough, you become their emotional crutch. You begin carrying their pessimism as if it were your own. A Stoic responds differently. When something goes wrong, a Stoic doesn't complain. They correct, act, adjust. They move. The complainer stays stuck. They mistake talking for effort and noise for progress. Their favorite line? "You don't understand how hard it is." But the truth is, they don't want to understand how capable they are. And here's what happens when you keep listening. You apologize for things that aren't your fault. You hide your joy so they won't feel worse. You end conversations drained, heavy, even guilty. That isn't empathy. That's emotional erosion. The Stoic approach is clear. Listen once with compassion, then shift them toward responsibility. Ask, what's one thing you can control right now? What have you tried already? What will you do differently next time? If they answer with excuses or more complaints, that's your signal. You've reached the point where empathy becomes enabling. So what do? You step back, stop feeding the cycle. You don't need to argue or scold, just disengage. When they start venting again, gently change the subject or excuse yourself. Silence is a powerful mirror. When their words stop landing, they finally hear themselves. Epictetus taught, "It is not things that disturb us, but our opinions about them." The complainer worships their opinions. You cannot save someone who kneels before their misery, but you can save yourself by walking away. True compassion isn't giving someone your ears forever. It's giving them the space to hear themselves. Affirmation: I listen with empathy, not endurance. I protect my peace from endless complaints. 5. The entitled taker. They don't ask, they expect. They treat your time, your kindness, and even your patience as if it belongs to them. These are the entitled takers, people who confuse generosity with obligation. They rarely say thank you, because in their mind, you simply did what you were supposed to do. At first, they may seem confident or charming. They ask for help in ways that make you feel useful, even appreciated. But soon, the pattern appears. Every interaction tilts in one direction, toward them. When you give, it's taken for granted. When you say no, it's treated as betrayal. Their unspoken motto is simple: if you cared, you'd do it. Stoicism calls this the corruption of virtue, when goodness becomes a tool for manipulation. Seneca wrote, "He who gives only to receive deserves nothing." But the entitled taker flips this truth. They believe they deserve what they never earned. They prey on your guilt, your compassion, your desire to be seen as a good person. You start doing favors just to avoid conflict. You apologize for setting boundaries. But the Stoics teach, real generosity begins with choice, not coercion. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, "Do good, but expect nothing in return." He never said, "Let people exploit you because you're kind." There is a clear line between kindness and compliance, and the entitled taker thrives by blurring it. Their entitlement shows up in subtle patterns. They interrupt your rest because it'll only take a minute. They frame your no as coldness or ego. They keep track of what you owe, but forget what they've taken. They appear only when they need something, And here's the trap. You start believing that protecting yourself makes you selfish. But refusing exploitation is not selfishness, it's self-respect. Stoicism is a philosophy of self-command, not self-sacrifice. Epictetus taught, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Every time you say yes out of guilt, you give away a bit of that mastery. So how do you handle an entitled taker? Redefine help as a choice, not an obligation. Your energy is not owed to people who don't value it. Say no without a story. Explanations open the door to negotiation. A calm, steady, "No, I can't do that," is enough. Give with limits, not endlessly. If you choose to help, set clear boundaries, time, effort, and scope, and stick to them. Watch their reactions. The right people will respect your boundaries. The wrong ones will expose their entitlement the second you set them. Stoicism reminds us, you cannot cultivate virtue in an environment that constantly drains you. If helping someone destroys your peace, that's not kindness. It's self-abandonment. The entitled taker will never stop asking. It's your responsibility to stop offering. Saying no doesn't make you unkind. It makes your yes meaningful. When you stop giving from guilt, you start giving from clarity. Seneca said, "He who is everywhere is nowhere." When you give yourself to everyone who demands it, you disappear. Save your energy for the people who grow because of you, not the ones who consume you. You can't pour endlessly from an empty soul. Let your boundaries become wisdom. Let your restraint become strength. Affirmation. I give from choice, not guilt. My kindness has limits, and that is what keeps it pure. 6. The drama magnet. Wherever they go, chaos follows. If peace is a still lake, they're the stone that never stops skipping across it. These are the drama magnets, people addicted to emotional turbulence, who confuse intensity with connection and chaos with significance. At first, they seem exciting. There's always a crisis, a story, a betrayal. You get pulled in because they're never dull. But the cost is steep. Your mind stays on edge. Every conversation becomes a minefield of gossip, conflict, or exaggerated emotion. Around them, calm feels suspicious, silence feels dangerous, and simplicity feels boring. Stoicism teaches the opposite rhythm. Marcus Aurelius said, "If you are disturbed by external things, it is not they that trouble you, but your judgment of them." The drama magnet thrives by sharing that disturbance. Their chaos spreads. They feed on your reactions, your shock, your sympathy, your outrage. It makes them feel important. Without drama, they feel invisible. You'll know them by the patterns. They always have a new enemy. Their relationships swing from love to hate overnight. They speak in extremes, always, never, everyone, no one. And when you try to calm the situation, they call you cold. But Stoicism reminds us, peace comes from mastering your response, not matching their emotion. The drama magnet fears silence because stillness exposes their emptiness. They only feel alive when something is happening. Here's how you reclaim your peace. Stop participating in their stories. When they gossip, change the topic or respond neutrally. Don't mirror their emotions. They pull you in by provoking a reaction. Breathe slowly. Answer calmly. Nothing frustrates a drama addict like your composure. Control your access. Limit contact. Drama requires an audience. Don't be one. Refuse to personalize their storms. Their chaos existed before you and will continue after you. Seneca wrote, "He who suffers before it is necessary, suffers more than necessary." Drama magnets turn every inconvenience into a catastrophe. When you pull away, they may accuse you of being detached. Let them. To people addicted to noise, peace will always look cold. You're not rejecting them. You're rejecting the cycle that harms you both. Your mind is a temple. Not everyone deserves to shout inside it. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, "You have power over your mind." Drama magnets want you to forget that. Choose silence over reaction. That's how you win without fighting. Affirmation: I am not a stage for other people's chaos. My calm is my shield. 7. The self-destructive rebel. They know exactly what they're doing, and that's what makes it painful. You warn them, support them, pull them back from the edge, yet they always find a new edge to stand on. These are the self-destructive rebels, people who confuse recklessness with freedom and pain with proof they're alive. At first, you may admire their boldness. They break rules, speak their mind, chase intensity. But eventually, you see it clearly. They're not chasing growth. They're running from accountability. They sabotage relationships, jobs, opportunities, then laugh it off as just who I am. When you try to help, they treat concern as control. You become the enemy simply for caring. Stoicism sees the pattern instantly. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not a master of himself." The rebel believes freedom means doing whatever they feel. Stoics know real freedom is choosing what's right, even when you don't feel like it. The rebel rejects discipline, calling it limitation, not realizing discipline is the only path to real power. They say they don't need help, yet their actions beg for it. They drink to escape their thoughts, create chaos for validation, and reject advice to protect their ego. Deep down, they fear stillness, because stillness forces self-awareness. Stoicism calls this slavery to impulse. You cannot save them, because saving them shields them from the very lessons they must face, their consequences. Seneca said, "Difficulties strengthen the mind as labor strengthens the body." The self-destructive rebel avoids both. They want the rush without the responsibility. And when you cushion their fall, you rob them of the pain that could wake them up. So what can you do? Detach with love. Care without carrying. Say, "I'm here when you're ready to change," and mean it. Refuse to enable. Don't clean up their mess or soften the consequences. Lead by example. Your steady discipline is more powerful than any lecture. Accept your limits. You are not their savior. You're a mirror, not a safety net. Marcus Aurelius said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." The best way to help a self-destructive person is to live your philosophy so clearly that it exposes their chaos without you saying a single word. They may eventually hit bottom, and when they do, your absence will echo louder than every warning you ever gave. Because that silence shows them a truth they've avoided. No one can walk their path for them. Letting go doesn't mean you stopped caring. It means you finally understood the Stoic principle that every person owns their choices, their lessons, and their freedom. Sometimes the most compassionate act is stepping aside and letting life teach the lesson you cannot. Affirmation: I release those who choose their own chaos. I save my strength for my own mastery. You can love someone and still walk away. You can care deeply and still protect your peace. That isn't cruelty, it's wisdom. Stoicism reminds us that compassion without discernment becomes a slow form of self-destruction. Helping is sacred only when it uplifts both sides, not when it drains one soul to keep another afloat. Across these 7 types, the victim, the leech, the manipulator, the complainer, the taker, the drama magnet, and the rebel, the message never changes. Not everyone deserves your rescue. Some need silence, some need distance, and some must finally face the consequences you've been shielding them from. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Be tolerant with others, but strict with yourself." That doesn't mean absorbing everyone's chaos. It means upholding your own standards. Virtue isn't measured by how much you suffer for others, but by how wisely and intentionally you give of yourself. So protect your time like gold. Guard your peace like oxygen. Offer help to those ready to grow, not those who expect you to shrink with them. Because when you stop trying to save everyone, you finally save yourself. And that is where true Stoic strength begins. Affirmation: I help wisely, love freely, and protect my peace fiercely.